You ask, I answer. That's how this works, isn't it?
Shave it up!
Hey everybody, Clean Shaver here, and it is Friday again, and once again I have promised an Ask the Clean Shaver episode. The last one was pretty popular actually. I had a lot of people that asked more questions in the comments, and so we'll do that again this time. If you have any questions that I haven't addressed in this episode or in the first one, then go ahead and put them in the comments down below, and I'll do my best to answer them next time. And we'll probably do another one in a month or so. But let's go ahead and dive into some of the questions that I have. Just a reminder, I will have the results of my drawing for the Halftime Razors head shaver set, a box of 2, that we'll be giving away courtesy of Halftime Razors from last week's video. So I'll have the drawing winner at the end of this video, so make sure you watch all the way through to see if you won. All right, so let's get into the first questions. Lance Bailey asked, quick question, would you consider yourself a menth head? And what is your favorite menthol soap and aftershave out of the hardcore menthol soaps? So I'd have to say, of the hardcore menthol soaps, you know, I've tried quite a few of them, and I think my favorite is there's a couple different favorites. I'll qualify this. So as far as quality of the lather is concerned, I think I like Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements, what's it called? Frostbite, that's what it is, Frostbite. Great lather, great feel to it, as with any of Phoenix's soaps, wonderful product. And so while it's not the most intense menthol soap I've used, I'd say the lather that's probably the highest quality mentholated soap, well, pure menthol soap I should say. As far as most intense menthol soap, it's got to be Cryogen for me, from Chiseled Face Crematorium. Man, that thing is intense. It's like, well, it's saponified menthol. That's really what it comes down to. It's intense. So, and then aftershaves. I don't typically get into a whole lot of the super mentholated aftershaves, but I do have a few that I like. Barbasol Brisk is one that's very inexpensive if you can find it. I also really like Booster's Polar Ice, is a favorite of mine. And great. Both of those have a very classic after scent to it, but you do get a lot of the brisk menthol right at the beginning, and I really like them. So, great question. Weiss Artist, sorry if I slaughtered the pronunciation on that, said, hey Scott, I'm a teenager looking to get into wet shaving. I have very sensitive skin. What's the best setup for me? Thanks. So, best setup for you, and to be fair, you might not actually have sensitive skin. A lot of us think that we have sensitive skin before we get into wet shaving, and then realize, you know what? I actually have a lot more flexibility than I thought. It's just cartridge razors. And so my recommendation for starting out would be actually just what I started out with, because that's what I know as far as starting out. My first kit was a inexpensive Mula synthetic brush, a Mula R89 double-edged razor. You can also get a Edwin Jagger DE89, Mercur 34C. They're all pretty similar. And fairly inexpensive. You can also pick up a simple Gillette Tech, an older Gillette Tech or Gillette Super Speed at an antique store if you can find one for a fairly inexpensive price. And then I would get started with some fairly mild blades like an Astra Super Platinum, Persona Lab Blues are maybe a little bit more on the aggressive side of what I would first start out trying. Sharks are actually not bad. Derbies are great beginning blades. And Voskods are fairly mild as well. I would steer clear of Feathers, Kais, Bolzanos, some of those more aggressive blades, at least while you're learning. Then as far as soaps and aftershaves, I would go with something that's probably pretty innocuous, like a Soap Commander Integrity. I started out with Purazo White, which is their sensitive skin formula, and loved it. So you can get something along those lines if you don't want to have to deal with any fragrances. But really, there are so few fragrances or scent types in soaps that are going to give you a hard time, that I'd say you're probably pretty safe. Steer clear of some of the spicier ones like bay rums and things like that, but otherwise, you're probably pretty good. Mohammed Peer, and it wasn't really a question, but a comment that I think is worth addressing. He said, you raised an interesting point about tallow versus vegan soaps. We always hear some people say that they prefer tallow soaps, but I wonder if anybody besides a soap maker really, or even a soap maker, could tell the difference in a blind test. And I really think that's true. I mean, if you're actually looking at the soap, yeah, you might be able to tell because tallow has some different properties to it. But in a lather against lather performance test, I would defy a lot of people, except maybe a soap maker or a chemist, to be able to determine the real true difference between a tallow and a vegan. Both high quality soaps in their performance, their slickness, their lather. I would wager good money that very, very few people that aren't soap makers or chemists could really tell the difference. Borba Tomagus said, why aren't adjustable safety risers like the Parker variant, the Rockwell 6C, or 6S, I'm guessing, 6C is the chrome version, Mercur Progress, recommended to more beginners? Seems like a longer term investment, or like a better long-term investment. And I agree with you somewhat that that is probably a wise investment in the long run, but for a lot of beginners, they're not even sure that this is going to stick. And so I think the lower end razors probably come at an easier price tag. Some people get into this to save money. And so I agree with you that an adjustable razor is a wiser long-term investment because you'll get more for your money. But for somebody that's not even sure if they're going to stick with this, I can see the allure of just having a cheap razor, cheap brush, cheap soap set, just to see if you like it. So I would recommend, if you figure out that, you know what, I enjoy this, I would recommend investing in a good adjustable razor. And it doesn't even have to be a high-end one, like a Gillette Fat Boy could treat you very well. I have one and I love it. I also have the Rockwell 6S and I love that. I've tried the Rocknell and Barbaros adjustable as well. There's a lot of adjustable razors out there that are great. Yeah, I would say go ahead and invest in one. That's a great idea. But make sure that you're committed to it first. LB Joines asked, without question, the most expensive wet shaving gear that one could purchase would be a razor and the brush. And that's absolutely true. Soaps are relatively inexpensive. Aftershaves are pretty inexpensive. Your biggest investments are the brushes and the razors. Probably the razors tipping out. Actually, there's a fair balance there. But if you could only own or purchase one of these, which would give a better shave to be more vital to a good shave experience? A very high dollar Badger brush or a very high dollar DE razor? And talking about non-custom pieces, I would wager that the high-end razor is going to tip out the high-end brush, just because brushes, yes, you can get great brushes at a really high price, but there comes a point, and this is true of razors as well, but there comes a point of diminishing return where the more you spend does not necessarily get you more performance, and I think that's true of both. Now, I would say that a really highly quality made razor might treat you a little bit better than a really high quality made brush. That's just my opinion. Yeah. But speaking as one who doesn't own a lot of super high-end brushes, I frankly don't see the need other than status, really. I mean, how many of us really need a Morrison Fondren brush or a Simpson or any of those super high-end ones? They're great, they're beautiful, they look and perform very, very well, but for the price, it's a luxury item. It's a Mercedes versus an Accord kind of thing. You know, they'll both get you there, but one just might get you there in more style. So if you can afford a great, really high-end brush, really high-end razor, go for it. But there are people getting great shaves out of far less expensive equipment. Just my 2 cents. Joe Jackson asked 2 questions. What type of equipment do you use to make your videos? And what type of software do you use to edit your videos? So I am super high tech with my videos, and I film my videos on my iPhone. In fact, I'll show you right now what I use. So hang on just a second. Okay, so you can see I have this little suction cup mount That's actually, this top piece is part of a selfie stick, to be quite honest. It's just got a little threaded spot right there. And this is a suction cup mount that you can use for a phone on a windshield. Hi. And then for editing my videos, it's my MacBook. I use iMovie. Super high tech, I know. So that just took the mystery out of my videos. Hope I don't regret that. Anyway, great question, Joe. Justin McLean actually asked a question the last time and was a great question, so I'll answer his question again this time. What type of aftershaves do you like when using your head, or when shaving your head? Great question, actually. It depends. I assume that you're probably asking like between witch hazel based versus alcohol based versus balms versus whatever. It depends, really. It depends on how my skin is feeling that day. If I find that, like during the winter especially, I find that I like to use an aftershave balm just to help moisturize things. And then I don't like a ton of burn, at least not a ton of alcohol burn. I'm okay with some, but if there's a lot of alcohol content, I find that I generally don't like that as much. But I love, for instance, Captain's Choice Cat of Nine Tails, but that's a different kind of burn. It does have some of that alcohol burn to it, but it's a spicy burn almost, and I really like that. So I just like it to have some nice toning effect on my head, and if I can have some cooling effect as well, generally, I like that as well. Probably less on the alcohol-based, more on the witch hazel, rosewater, menthol, actually. And then last question for today, it comes from Dismont Desire. What shavette would you recommend? What flavor of soap do you like best? How many times a week do you shave your head? 2 or more? So let's divide these up. First, what shavette would you recommend? Personally, none of them. I don't like shavettes. That's just me personally. I know a lot of guys that really like shavettes. My experience has not been great with them. And so I tend to steer away from them. I do like straight razors. I own a couple. And I use them. But shavettes, I find personally that the line that you walk with them between comfortable and scary is so fine that I just choose not to use them. I'm probably not the person to ask on that. What flavor of shaving soap do I like best? As far as flavor or scent, I'll tell you a couple of my favorites. Bay rum, true bay rum, really nice, spicy, robust bay rum. I really love that. And then barbershop is a favorite of mine as well. And then I don't get too much into the florally cologne kind of stuff, but I do enjoy a nice cologned scented soap as well. Something like the Deal Maker or Soap Commander Courage, or what else do I have here? Sundown by Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements. It's kind of a barbershop-esque scent, but it's a very classic scent. I generally tend to veer toward those, the more classic, manly kind of scents. I don't get a whole lot into the floral, fruity kind of thing, but to each their own. And then, how many times do I shave my head every week? Well, right now, that's about the only thing I do shave besides my neck. And so it's usually 5 times a week or so. Just anytime I shave my head, unless I scar something up really badly. So yeah, usually about 5 times a week or so. I sometimes skip a day here and there, just depending on how busy my schedule is, but usually about that. And so far, no problems. So that's it for my video tonight. I want to thank you all for asking the questions. If you have any more questions that I haven't addressed today, then go ahead and put them down in the comments, and I'll look forward to addressing those next time. And then, oh, I forgot. I need to draw a winner, huh? Hey! All right, so I said that we would do a drawing for a 2-pack of the Halftime razors. So you'll get 2 razors, and these will be mailed out by Halftime Razors. That order will be fulfilled by them, so I'll get you in touch with them. And the winner is going to be right here. Okay? All right, so if you will email me at thecleanshaver@gmail.com, then I will get you in touch with Walter from Halftime Razors, and we'll get you set up with a 2-pack. Now, for those of you who didn't win, I apologize, I can only have 1, but you can still get 10% off of your order if you go to halftimerazors.com and you enter in the promo code body shaver with a space in between, all lowercase letters. They'll get 10% off your order that's over $12 or more. And so I would remind you that this is a startup. These guys are, he's running this as his part-time gig. He's doing a full-time night gig to try and start this company up. So please support a US-based businessman. He's out of New Jersey. Great guy, and look forward to supporting him in the future. So halftimerazors.com, use the code BODYSHAVER at checkout to get 10% off. That's it for my video. Thanks everybody so much for watching, and thanks for supporting my channel. I mean, the fact that people are willing to ask me questions and watch a video of me answering them, I'm flattered. So thanks everybody for watching. Don't forget to like, favorite, subscribe, and make sure you hit that little bell button down in the subscribe area so that you get notified the next time I post a video, which, like I say every time, is usually every Friday morning. And if you have any special requests or anything like that, make sure you put them down in the comment section. I'm always looking for suggestions on videos or things that you'd like to see me do or review or talk about. So would love to hear from you. And as always, you can find me on all of my social media outlets: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Google+, Voicebyte, Snapchat, Kick. They're all down in the description below. Don't forget to check out my review of Halftime Razors right over there. Okay? Thanks everybody for watching. Be smooth, shave it up. We'll see you next time. Later.